Simplify 4 plus 5 times 6, the order of operation. Remember the order of operation? PEMDAS. Parentheses first, exponent second, multiplication, division third, we go left to right, addition, subtractions fourth, left to right. Do you see any parentheses there?
No, but can we put them in? Or no?
It won't help you anyway. Do you see any exponents? No? Do you see any multiplications or divisions? Yes, you got to do that first. What's 5 times 6? 30 plus the 4? 34. Do we have a 34 for an answer? A. Next question. Add and simplify. 9 over 7 plus 3 over 5. Notice the bottoms are not the same. So we have to find what? The least common denominator, which is what? 35. So I can make the bottom or the denominator 35 for both of them. To make the 7 somehow turn to 35, you'll have to multiply it by what? By 5. If you multiply the 7 by 5, you're going to multiply the 9 by 5. What's 5 times 9? 45. To change the 5 to 35, you'll have to multiply it by 7. 3 times 7, 21. Now both of these numbers are the same. We keep that. We don't add them. And we take the two top numbers and we combine them. 45 plus 21, which is what? 66 over 35. This number is divisible by 2, is divisible by 3. This is divisible by 5 and by 7. Can't simplify. And notice 66 over 35 is one of the answers.
But in our system, it's going to tell us whether it wants an improper fraction.
I want, for the hours, yes. Here we just look at the answers, yes. I forgot the software, they're always specific how they want the answer. Now this problem, 16 divided by 7 and 2/5. Well, I like to change this to what? 16 over 1 divided by, we'll switch that later. Let's change this to improper fraction. Remember how? 5 times 7, yes. 35 plus 2, 37 over 5. And how do we do divisions? Keep, change, right? 16 over 1 times, excuse me, 5 over 37. The worst day to be recording. I got stuffy nose, running nose. 16 times 5, which is what? 80 over 37. Notice for this problem, none of the answers look like improper fraction. It looks like they changed them to what? Mixed number. Can we make them mixed numbers? What's 80 divided by, can you see that? Okay, I'll do it here. What is 80 divided by 37? Is it 2? Two times 37 is what? 2 times 7, 14. That's 74, right? So what's the remainder? 6. So it's 2 and 6 over 37. Is that answer there? 2 and 6 over 37. The questions come from all over. Solve. 4 plus y equals 12. We need, remember, when you solve an equation, you want to isolate the variable. That means somehow I have to get rid of that plus 4 here. And to get rid of the plus 4, what do? Subtract 4 from this side. If I subtract 4 from this side, I got to subtract 4 from that side. Y equals what? 12 minus 4, which is 8. Let's look at this one. 1/3 s equals 12. That's a multiplication. It means 1/3 times s equals what? 12. We said, what's the opposite to multiplications? Division. So s equals 12 divided by 1/3. The opposite to multiplication, we divide. Now that's 12 over what? 1. To do division, we're going to keep the first number, change it to multiplication, flip the second number. Keep, change, and change. That's the rule. So that's 12 over 1 times 3 over 1. What's 12 times 3? 36 over 1, which is what? 36. 1/3 of what number is 12? 1/3 of the 36. The next question. A plane travels 377 miles on 58 gallons of gasoline. How many miles per gallon does the plane get? How many miles per gallon? The word per in math means what? Divide. So what is 377? That's the miles. Divided by the gallons, 58. Someone says 6.5? So 377, there's a decimal point, there's a lot of zeros if you need them, by 58. Let's try this 6. 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is what? 48. 6 times 5, 30, and 4, 34. 8 from 17, which is what? 9. 4 from 6, that's 2. Bring that 0 down, 290. 5 times 58, 290. So it is 6.5. This question. New York Yankees scored 350 runs in their first 100 games. 350 runs in their 100 games. If they keep up the same pace, that's proportion now, how many runs will they score in 162 games? In 162 games, how many runs are they going to score? If they keep, that's the key. If they keep the same pace, that means it's equal to. So I did proportion. Runs on the top, games on the bottom. 350 games, 350 runs, 10 games. 162 games, how many runs? Cross multiply. X times 100, that's 100x. What is 350 times 162? I'll cheat here. I'll use a calculator for that. You can multiply by hand, just to speed up the process here. What is 350 times 162? 350 times 162. For some reason I can't type 162. It is 56700. Now to solve for x, what do we do? Good, divide by 100. If you divide this side by 100, you divide that side by 100 to make that a 1x. When you divide by 100, these two zeros will cancel these two zeros, and your answer is 567 runs. Find the percent notation of 0.815. Now notice that this number is what? Is it a fraction? Is it a decimal? What is it? A decimal. And you want to change it to what? Percent. Remember decimal to percent? It said remember the alphabets. The ABCs. Yep. So forth. Percent is right here, and decimal is right here. Your number is decimal, which is right here, and you want to change it to a percent. You got to move the decimal point to the right. It's always two places. So if I take my decimal point, which is 0.815, move it two places to the right, that'll give me what? 81.5%. This is translate, do not solve. What number is equal, of is multiply. Remember that? 7% times 240 equals unknown, x. That's a translation. Don't solve it. Of is always multiply, is always equal. Do we have one that looks like that? They might be using n instead of using x. And which one? Is it B?
I have a question. If it says find decimal instead of percent, it would be 8, correct?
Decimal? It's already in decimal.
I'm saying find decimal instead of percent.
Of this number?
Question, yeah.
Well, this has to be given percent then,
Okay.
because it's already in decimal. So if they give you like 81.5% and says find the decimal, then you're in percent and you want to change it to a decimal, you move the decimal point to the left two places. Here's another percent problem. Food expenses takes 23% of the family's income. 23% of the family's income. A family makes $900 1 month. That's their income. How much money is spent on food? Is 23% of, that means multiply the income. What was the income for that month? $900. Now there's your answer to that question. This is in percent. If you want to multiply, you got to convert that number to what? Decimal. And to convert percent to a decimal, you move the decimal point how many places? 2 to the left. So right now the decimal point, since there's none, is at the end. If I move it 2 places to the left, it becomes what? 1, 2. That's 0.23 times the 900. So let's go to the side, multiply them. There's the 900. I don't know why I go that far. 0.23. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 0, 0. 3 times 9, 27. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 9, 18. You got to move the decimal point how many places? 2. So how much money? $207. Do we have 207? See again. You see it? The sum of a negative number and 0 is what? It says the sign of the number with the greater absolute value.
You can't see it.
What do you mean you can see it? It's right there. You need my glasses? The sum of a negative number and 0 is the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, a positive number, a 0, a negative number, and none of these.
Negative.
Negative number. The truth actually is also a correct answer. We've got to change that one. Because negative numbers, when we take the absolute value of them, they're all going to be positive numbers and bigger than 0. So, but they're looking for negative numbers. So that really should not, this option should not be there. I'm going to have to have them change it there. Add negative 3 plus a negative 3. Notice these numbers have the same sign. When they have the same sign, you add and what? Keep the sign. 3 and 3, 6, and what's the sign? Negative. The next number, or next question, negative 9 minus 7. Remember how we did the subtractions. We keep the first number, negative 9. We change that to what? Addition. And we change the sign of that number, negative 7. Keep, change, change. Karen can't cook. Keep, first number, change, that's where the C came, and change the sign. Keep, change, change. That's what we used last time. Karen can't cook. Same number, same sign, you add them and keep the sign. 7 and 9, which is what? And the sign is negative. Two times negative 3 squared plus 4 times negative 3 minus the 7. Order of operations. PEMDAS. Parentheses, I can't really simplify what's inside the parentheses. Exponents, yes we do. What's negative 3 squared?
9.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. Negative 3 times the negative 3 is positive. So 2 times 9 plus 4 times the negative 3 is negative 7. Any more parentheses or exponents? No. Any multiplications or divisions? Yes, I can do this. 2 times 9, 18. I'll do one step at a time. Any more multiplications or divisions?
4 times negative 3.
4 times the negative 3, which is what? Negative 12. Any more multiplication and division? No. Any addition, subtractions? Yes, left to right. You're going to do this one first. 18 plus a negative 12. Subtract 12 from 18, which is what? 6. And what's the sign of the 18? Positive. 6 take away 7, which is what? Negative 1. Negative 1. Me, thank you. Somebody take me outside and shoot me, I don't know. Negative 2 cubed. Hit me. Negative 3 squared. We want to multiply them. Let's find the answer to each one first, because exponents first. What's negative 2 cubed? It's minus 2 times a minus 2 times a minus 2. How many times? 3 times. That's a negative. An odd number of negative sign will produce what? A negative result. An even number of negative numbers will produce what? A positive result. So negative 3 times negative 3, that's 2 of them. That's an even number. That will make it a plus 9. A positive times a negative, that's an odd number of negative numbers. Odd, that's a negative number. 8 times 9, 72. So it's a negative 72. Now it says P plus, this is the opposite to P. A number plus, I think that's a plus, right? Or divided, I can't tell. Yep, divided. I think, I'm sorry, divided. A number divided by the opposite of the number. Somebody pick a number. Any number. 7. What's 7 divided by negative 7? Negative 1. Somebody pick a negative number, any number. Negative 2 divided by the opposite to negative 2. What's the opposite to negative 2? 2. What's negative 2 divided by 2? Negative 1. So a number divided by the opposite of that number, always a minus 1. Here's just a few examples here. So if we let P is 7, then negative P is negative 7. If you let P is minus 2, then the opposite to P is plus 2. When you divide a positive by a negative, it's always going to be a negative number. Always. Here we go. Tony got the following scores while bowling. 205, 198, 203. What was his average? How do you find the average?
Add them all and divide them by however.
Yep, add them all. And you divide by what? By 3. In this case, 3. Let's add them. So what is 205 plus 198 plus 203? I forgot to turn the calculator on. 205 plus 198 plus 203. 606 divided by 3, which is what? 202. Do we have a 202? Yep. Find the mode. The mode is what? The most frequent, most common. Let's look at these numbers in case you can't see them. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6, 8. I see 2 numbers showed up more often. The 2 and what? I have 2 modes. 2 comma 6. Bimodal. 2 of them. 2 comma 6. Each one showed up twice. Question number 19. 9 miles. I want to change that to feet. Here we go. 9 miles over 1. I'm going to multiply. I need miles on the bottom, feet on the top. The cheat sheet I gave you today, it says 1 mile has 5,280 feet on it. Right up there on the top. 1 mile, 5,280 feet. When you're multiplying fraction, the top times the top, the bottom times the bottom. 9 times 5,280, which is what?
47,520.
47,520 over 1, which is what? 47,520 feet. It's B. Question number 20. Complete. 82 decimeters to meters. Decimeters to meters. Let's bring that cheat sheet back. The metric. Decimeters, you're right here. And you want to go where? To meters right here. How many places? 1 to the left. So here's your decimal point. Right here. Move it 1 place to the left. 8.2 meters. Do we have 8.2? D. Next one. 33 feet. That's over 1, and you want to change it to meters. So you want feet on the bottom, meters on the top. Let me find my cheat sheet. 1 meter has how many feet in it? 3.3 feet, roughly. See it? 1 meter, 3.3 feet. The feet will cancel. 33 times 1, 33 over what? 3.3. If you want to divide them, you got to make sure that number on the bottom is not a decimal number. So you got to move the decimal point one place to the right. And if you move this one place to the right, you got to move this here one place to the right. That becomes what? 330 over 33, which is what? Is that 10? $10 meters. Now, question number 22. We're almost done. Find the area of a circle. On the back side of the cheat sheet, there's a circle. And the area of that, in case you can't see it, pi r squared. R squared means what? R times R. That's what R squared is. 2 R's. So let's plug in the numbers. It says use 22 over 7 for pi. And what was the radius? 14. That's 14 over 1. Times, what was the other radius? 14. And now you want to multiply these numbers. Well, before you multiply them, I can simplify first. By 7, this is what? 1. By 7, this is 2. So the answer is 22 times 2 times 14. 22 times 2 is 44 times the 14. What's 44 times 14? 616? Do we have 616? The unit's always meter squared, centimeter squared, inches squared, always a squared in them. Okay, we have a piece of land here. This is a lot, a piece of land that's 40 by 35, 40 meters by 35. That's the land. 40 meters by 35 meters. We put a swimming pool in it. The pool is 25 by 10. And the question, how much area is left? What is that area? How do we figure out what that area is? Perfect. The area of the land or the lot is the outside. That's length times width, rectangular shape. 40 times 35. $1,400 square meters. We have a pool put in. What's the area of the pool? 25 times 10, rectangular shape. That's what? 250 square meters. So what is left? Is going to be what? The 1,400 minus the 250, which is 1,150. Two more questions. Find the volume of a rectangular cube. Cube means all sides are equal. Like this. All sides are equal. 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. The width, the height, everything the same. Find the volume. Wait a minute. I got a box here. It says the volume. See the volume here? On the handout, you take this side times that side times this side. Length times width times height. The volume of any rectangular shape. Cube is really a rectangular shape. What's just a special case? All sides are equal. So the volume here is going to be length, which is 0.3, the width, which is 0.3, the height, which is 0.3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. You're going to move the decimal point how many places? 3. 1, 2, 3. 0.027, and the units are inches cubed for a volume. And the last question from chapter 11, section 6 here, we have a right triangle. We know the hypotenuse, that's this side, 26. We know this one's 24. Can you find that side? If you remember, we used to call this side C, we used to call this side A, and that side is B. There's a theorem here, it's called what? Pythagorean Theorem. C squared equals what? A squared plus B squared. 26 squared is going to equal to 24 squared plus B squared. Go to the calculator now. What's 26 squared? 676, right? What is 24 squared? 576. If I'm going to solve for B, I need to subtract 576 from both sides to isolate the B. B squared equals what? 100? How do we get B? Square root of 100. What number, if you multiply it by itself, the answer is 100? Isn't it 10? What number times itself, what positive number times itself will make it 100? And the answer is 10. Can't be a negative number. We're talking about the leg of a triangle. We're measuring the length of it.